But I think if you try and cut costs with your staff, it just shows big time. And I think that you only get your team on board if you pay them well.
Yeah.
So this is a big thing for me. So what we do with them, they all have an amount that they have to take every week. If they hit that, obviously they're going to earn really, really well. But then if they do really well, they get champagne, and we also give them £10 for every year they've worked for us on their birthdays. So, we really take care of our staff, and I just think that's so important. I don't think you can have a good team. Our brand is only as good as our team.
Yeah.
So if we don't pay them well, they'll leave.
So the flip side of that, obviously, is that you can, with the monitoring and tracking you do per therapist or per hairdresser, you can check who's performing well,
yes,
and who's having repeat bookings.
Oh, they have to perform.
Yeah.
They have to perform big time, and if they don't perform, they're out the door.
That's what I was going to ask you about. How do you cope with poor performance? Because it's a thing I hear a lot from salon owners when they write into us at the magazine. They say a lot of the time that they have difficulty dealing with in a small team. It's very difficult because they feel they can't tell Anne off because she's late.
This argument comes up time and time again for me, and especially when I teach my course, because I could, I'm sort of got 75 staff, but I can also, I've been there, and I know what it's like to have a team of 2 or 3 staff, and that's really, really hard as well. But there are pros and cons of both. And I think sometimes if you have a smaller team, you sort of tend to live with things because you feel like you can't say anything about it, and you feel you just have to sort of live with Anne, because she, she's always been there, and that's her way, and da da da. But I don't believe that. I think you can change things around, and you can set a benchmark, and you can say, the big thing that I'm really into is to ping it back, right? So if one of the staff comes to me and says, I really don't earn enough, and I don't seem to get any new clients, and I this and I that, and I whinge and whinge, and I say, absolutely, I totally agree with you. I'm so disappointed in you because I really want you to move up to the next tier, and I really want you to be on 70% of clients that have asked to rebook you. So how can I help you reach that? Because it's not my responsibility, it's yours. So how can I help you do that? And I think sometimes we just take everything on the chin, and we feel like it's our responsibility, and we feel like, but actually it's not. And you need to turn it around on them and say, what help can I give you? Do you want, do you need to retrain? What do we need to do so that you can hit that benchmark? Because all the time, don't hit that benchmark. You are not going to earn well, and that is such a shame. And I find that just that way to deal with it that way and just to ping it back to them. Yeah. So it's not your responsibility. It's their responsibility to build up a good clientele. It's their responsibility to get the customer to rebook. You cannot be in the treatment room with them. You can't wipe their bum for them. They've got to do it. And if they don't do it, then they're a waste of time for you as well, because you could actually employ someone who could get those clients back for you. So, you have to turn it around to them. They've got to take a bit of responsibility.
Yeah. It's a brilliant management strategy. I think it's really good. Does it work? Have you seen people turn around?
It totally works. And, actually, I think I sit down with my staff once a year and we review their everything about what they're doing. And I keep it I think sometimes in a small team, that can turn around to, well, why don't we do that? And we all think this, and we think that, and we think that. And I say, right, first of all, it's not we, because this is about you and me. And let's look at you. Tell me why you didn't reach that goal. Tell me what help I can give you to help you reach that goal next time, because so-and-so's reached it and so-and-so. And then that sort of whole we thing just sort of tends to...
Good, cool. I think that's a great idea. I love it. You, one of the things you did that's really interesting that you didn't tell me about was your performance league in your staff room.
Yeah, well, you see, that sort of stems from everything. And when I first put the performance league up, I mean, this was 1990, and it was all sort of, well, you shouldn't say what we all take. And it's all, no, it's not the done thing to put that up. And I tell you what, after about 4 weeks, they would run in to see where they were on that chart, and they would just want to know what they were up to.
Yeah.
And, I think the Performance League works brilliantly. And I think, again, it's something, if you've got a smaller shop, it's quite hard to do.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't stop you. shouldn't stop you, because actually it's just a chart to say, this is what you did, this is what you sold, this is who rebooked, this is what you did last week. And if you don't track it, again, when you come to sit them down and talk to them, how can you tell them, you know, the things that they need to change? You can't.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I guess as well, we talked earlier about mystery shopping of, you know, you going into other salons and spas, but I guess as well it's really helpful for you, whereas you can walk around your salon floor from a hairdressing perspective and see who's doing well and who's actually doing the proper consultation. It's harder for anyone who's running a salon with treatment rooms, because everything is done with that staff member behind closed doors. And so
I think that's the hardest thing of all, because you can't see, and that's where you just need to send in mystery clients all the time. And you know, I've seen these forms that look so complicated that you're asking the mystery client. At the end of the day, there should be one thing on the form: would you rebook and pay for that treatment? Would you rebook that girl? And if the answer's no, you've got to find out what she's doing wrong, and you've got to address it straight away. You cannot employ someone, you know. I don't see why we should sort of soft soap it. We're employing them to get customers back for us, right? We're employing these girls to get customers back for us, and the guys, although in my salon there's, you know. Anyway, we're employing them to get the client to come back again. That's the whole point. We've got to get the client to rebook. So, you know, that's all you need to ask. Would you rebook that girl? Would you ask for her, and would you come back and pay for that treatment? If the answer's no, deal with it.
Yeah, okay. This, I think, number 6 links up with that. It's about communicating financial information. Now, I know that when you go into the, Helen's office at Richard Ward, there are statistic books on everything, and she can tell you at any moment where anything is. There's spreadsheets for literally every single thing you can imagine. But do you, if I was working in your salon and I wanted to know something, be it very, very good or very, very bad, would you really be honest with me? Would you share absolutely everything with me?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't believe that, you see, the thing is, I think you have to invite the key team that are your core, that help you. I mean, I've got a core team of like 5 or 6 guys that help me do everything I want to do. And I tell them everything. I don't have any secrets from them at all. They know what we banked last week. They know what the turnover is. They know what the percentage goals are for next year. They know everything. And I think if you try and shroud it in mystery and try not to invite them to share, I don't think you can get them on side like that. You know, they need to know exactly. We say, we need to take X grand today. We need to do this. We need to make sure we reach this goal by the end of the week. And all of that team know exactly what we've got to do. So you can't sort of hide it all away. I think that's the wrong way.
Do you kind of do it in a kind of a meeting? I mean, how do you do it? How do you go about doing it?
Right, well, we have a meeting once every 4 weeks where we go through just anything we need to talk about, you know, from the loo on the sort of lock on the loo door to X who's new on the desk, who, you know, we've had clients say isn't quite right or whatever. We talk about absolutely everything. And I do that with, as I say, my 6 key staff. And then they all have to go back and sort of track those things down through their own teams. So, but I would still do it if I had a staff of 2. You know, I'd still do it if I had a staff of 10. I would invite everybody in and I'd say, right, these are the things we need to sort out. Feedback from clients all the time. And it's not, you know, it's not about staff whinging. You know, I think that you've got to just knock that on the head and say, that's not going to do anything. Let's make it so it's all positive stuff, you know, so that you can move on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is something you did really well at Richard Ward. As you said earlier, you took over this business during a recession, and there was a multitude of staff.
There was too many people sitting about not doing anything. And I think the guys that owned it before had this mindset that, well, it's best to have a team of like 12 and have them half booked than have a team of 6 and have them completely booked up. So the first thing I did was just say, no, we can't do that. So I was in for about 2 or 3 months before I really did begin to sort of do a cull. And I just culled everybody who a client said they wouldn't rebook. And so we had a team of sort of 6 core staff that still remain our team of 6 core staff, you know, now, which is fantastic.